Well, we are not wimps, and we're not taking what the Biden administration is telling us about this bridge collapse on face value. They are known liars. They lie for a living. So I've been heartened to see that it seems like about 80%, maybe even 90% of you were like, yeah, something is absolutely fishy with this. This doesn't make sense. Things are not adding up. And then there's about 10% of you that are like, no, I believe the Biden administration. I believe what they're telling us is true, that this is probably misinformation. Okay. You do you, however you want to go about it. Well, we now have the NTSB, the National Transportation Safety Board, has released its initial black box assessment of the cargo ship collision in Baltimore. So, Philip, you can roll this. This is their video that they released on board the ship where they're going to see, this is their ship that pulled up alongside. They've got their drones out and they've been doing their initial assessments. Turns out that during the power outage, the black box didn't record a bunch of key information. Yes, the black box somehow didn't manage to record vital info. That's not supposed to happen. Even with the power off, it should independently operate. So keep rolling this if you would, Philip. I'll just read some of what the NTSB found here, but you can see the initial crash in those cargo containers right now, which have breached. We'll get to that in a second. So at about 39 hours on Tuesday morning, the box ship Dolly got underway from Baltimore's Seagrett Terminal with 21 Indian crew members, 2 local pilots, 56 hazmat containers on board. The pilots released the docking tugs shortly after, and the vessel was on its way into the open channel. Then at about 1 in the morning, 1 hour 24, 0, I don't know how you say that in military times, like 1:24 a.m. Dolly was underway in the channel, making 8 knots and steering 141 degrees. Then at about 1:25 a.m., multiple alarms went off. And the VDR, which is the black box, ceased recording. It just stopped. So the black box just stopped recording anything at 1:25 a.m., according to the NTSB. Using backup power, the black box kept recording bridge audio only. That's it. Nothing else. 1 minute later, 1:26 a.m., the black box was able to resume recording the ship's electronic data. Okay. Shortly after that, at 1:26, the pilot made a general VHF call for tug assistance. So we have basically 2 minutes of the black box not recording anything. The vital 2 minutes.
Strange.
Isn't that what the black box is supposed to do? I mean, that's, yes. It just seems, that's just, like,
that's the whole point of the black box.
If there's nothing nefarious going on, then this is like the most unfortunate, like, like circumstance that like in the most critical moment, the black box just happens to stop recording. Yeah. I mean, it's like the Epstein security camera.
Yes.
Right. Like yes. Exactly. Or the 17 minutes missing from Nixon's White House, for Watergate. Go ahead, David.
Exactly. Can we think of another time that the black boxes didn't work? The only other time in history that we've ever heard that they haven't worked, when that was? I think it happened in in the month of September or something.
Yeah, I mean, it was on September 11th. That's so strange. Yeah, it's very strange when these things just like stop working like that. So, yeah, it could be a total coincidence. How many of you, show of hands, think it's a coincidence? Yes or no? We don't believe in coincidences here on the show. So you do you. If you believe the Biden administration, you do you. So use backup power. Then it kept recording a little bit longer. And then it recorded some of the pilot's verbal rudder commands. 1 minute later, 1:26, the VDR was able to resume, and it got some of that electronic data. So again, for 2 minutes, gone. Here's the NTSB talking about, now I want you to bear in mind, President Biden came out days ago and told us, first thing in the morning, that there's nothing to see here. An initial investigation, no foul play, nothing to worry about. We're going to rebuild the port, and we're going to pay for everything. We're going to fix the bridge. Don't worry about it. Let's move along. I got to catch a flight to North Carolina. 2 days later, the NTSB now admits that they just arrived on board to start their initial investigation. So how did the Biden administration get this data when they hadn't even landed on the ship yet? Watch.
The operations and engineering group was able to board the vessel last night, and they did a walkthrough of the vessel, including the bridge and the engine room. They were looking for other electronic components, any sort of downloadable recorders, any sort of cameras, any sort of CCTV. They did not find any of those things, but that search continues.
Oh. We're looking around, like anything here recording anything at any time? No.
Yeah, we don't have any recording
They're
equipment.
magically off again?
They're all gone. We can't find anything.
so weird.
There's no recording equipment. And as one viewer wrote me this afternoon to say, hey, Clayton, why was there only like one CCTV camera in that whole port? Like, why are we only seeing footage from like one location, that one CCTV camera? Good question. So we don't know. So let's go to the frame 4 here. Yeah, that one there, Philip. So at this time, a dispatcher at the Pilots Association contacted the duty officer and let them know that, oh my God, you better shut down some traffic here. At 1:27 a.m., 2 minutes before contact with the bridge pier, the pilot gave the order to drop Dali's port anchor. He also gave additional steering commands. So now we have power resuming, but we heard that there was no power before this. At 1:27, the pilot made a general radio call over VHF to warn that the Dali had lost all power and was approaching the bridge. So this would have been verbal steering commands. So why did it suddenly turn with such a sharp turn into the pier or into the pylon of the bridge? The ship was making 7 knots at 1:29 a.m., the moment that the black box began recording the audible sounds of the collision. The noise continued until 1:29, and the pilot made a VHF call to report the bridge's collapse a few minutes later. So now the NTSB admits that they just began interviewing crew members yesterday. Agency Chair Jennifer Homenday said at this press conference, the first interviews with the pilots are scheduled for tomorrow, meaning today, Thursday. For immediate term, the agency's focus is on collecting any. So why wait this many days to start interviewing the crew? Don't you find that odd? You can just wait that long for an investigation into the crew? What happened?
An investigation that we've been given a foregone conclusion.
Right. So the Biden administration told us nothing to see here, nothing wrong. We've already come to the conclusion. The NTSB hasn't even interviewed the crew and the pilots yet. And they just arrived on board to get their initial assessment and find no electronic recording equipment 2 days later. But the Biden administration told us everything's fine. Okay. So again, this is unbelievable.
It has such an eerie similarity to East Palestine when the train thing happened. Remember, it was like so immediate. They knew everything, and it's like they didn't even do an investigation, but they knew what it was. They knew all this stuff. And we know that was,
Yeah.
I just
So
don't get it.
yeah, I don't either. So she says that some of the containers on the bow have been breached, including some hazmat containers, and some of this has now made it into the water, has been spotted in the water. The area is dangerous to access, and federal and local responders are aware of the damage. So tons of hazardous materials, she says. Listen.
Now, the Cargo Manifest, we did bring in one of NTSB's senior hazmat investigators today to begin to look at the cargo and the Cargo Manifest. He was able to identify 56 containers of hazardous materials. That's 764 tons of hazardous materials, mostly corrosives, flammables, and some miscellaneous hazardous materials, Class 9.
Class 9 hazardous materials. So just a lot of hazardous materials on the front of this ship that crashed into the bridge. Jeez. So again, I want to play this for you in case you missed it last night. But Lara Logan, investigative journalist, says, why is President Biden coming to the microphone telling his country that this is not terrorism when she's separately confirmed this with her own intelligence sources inside the Biden administration who are saying this was a cyber attack? This is Lara Logan, her reporting. Listen.
And here's the other thing that's concerned me. Why they run to the mic? Had McCabe on this morning on at sunrise on CNN saying it's not terrorism, it's not terrorism, it's not. It might not be terrorism, but why do you come to the mic right away? These are the type we need facts, we need empirical evidence, we need an investigation. What is your investigation telling you?
Well, I have a better question for you, Steve. Why are you coming to the mic telling the country that it's not terrorism when your own intelligence agencies are telling you it is? and I know they are, because I didn't make this up. These are not my words, right? I'm talking to people who are on the inside, some who are on active duty, some who are retired, and everyone, literally, from critical infrastructure in Department of Homeland Security to the intelligence agencies, they know there's no other, this is a cyber attack on a critical infrastructure corridor for the United States. This is, for those people who think this is just a river, this is in Baltimore, what does this matter? You don't know anything about what you're talking about. The I-94 corridor on the eastern seaboard is literally what connects the north and south. And when I talk about hazardous materials, right, this is a brilliant, well-planned strategic attack on one of the most important supply chains in the United States of America.
So do you still believe the Biden administration on this? Love to hear from you in the comments below. But that's the big update from the NTSB. The missing 2 minutes of recorded information on the black box. And the fact that you didn't even arrive for 2 days later, start your initial assessment and look for recording equipment and electronic surveillance equipment, and it's all gone. There's nothing there.
Well, there's hazardous material. They didn't want to go there.
Yeah, of course not.
Right? Send Kramer out swimming in the river.
Right, in the Hudson. Yeah, I'm swimming in there. Kramer, you smell.
You shouldn't be swimming in there.
I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. YouTube thinks that you'll actually like this next video right here. It's personalized based on your own viewing habits. So if you watch the video, please leave a comment. Let us know what you think about it. And we will see you next time, everyone.